Welcome back to Love, Life, and Legacy, the podcast dedicated to helping you navigate these hypersexualized times of ours. And in today's episode, we have a special guest. First of all, it's a special interviewer, Andranik, our chapter leader in Europe. But he's interviewing Shinchul Nim, a third generation, you could call him. You could also call him a true grandchild. It's Hyo Jin Nim's son and Yana Nim's son. And he's in Europe, and Andranik was able to grab him to get his opinions on some really interesting topics, including when we should educate our kids on sex and how prevalent pornography is and illicit content online and how we need to actually fight against it. Sound good? Sound familiar? Yeah, I'd say so. This is a really cool episode. Andranik did a great job, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So stick around. It's very casual and friendly, so just kind of pull out a nice warm beverage, sit on a very relaxing chair. If you have a pet, have it sit next to you and you can pet it while you listen or watch this beautiful episode.
All right, hello everybody.
Hey everyone.
It's again not Andrew, but the other Andr starting name. It's me, Andy from Europe. Today we have quite a. Actually, he doesn't like it, but special guest. It's been a running joke here.
Yeah.
This is Shinchul Nim Moon.
Yeah,
Welcome to the show.
do I give an introduction or what's going on?
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
All right.
Where are you from? What do you do?
For those of you who might not have seen me in events, I've been there sometimes, maybe giving some flowers or doing something. I'm the grandson of True Mother officially, hopefully also. But anyway, I have been in UPA. It's the education program for university students in our movement, which started 4 years ago. There I have
So
learned.
you're like the first
Yeah,
year
I'm the
as well.
first batch. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's there that I've been doing. We call it Songhwa in Korean. I think it's harp leaders in churches, mission in Albania until last week actually I was, and yeah, that's who I am. I'm working for our movement. I'm trying to, this next generation that mother really wants us to grow well. I'm trying to become someone who can bring that new generation into a better time. I don't know how to say. My English is not so good. I
Says
haven't
the
used it.
American born.
Yeah, I've been living in Korea for a while, but anyway, that's me. I don't know
Yeah.
what else to say.
Okay, yeah. Yes, first batch of UPA, and also I see some rings on your fingers.
Yeah. Do you want an explanation
Yeah,
or?
sure.
All right. Okay. So there couple rings that I made with my wife. This is my blessing ring.
When did you
This
get blessed?
I got blessed in 2020. 2020, the big one before COVID.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
in the midst of COVID, but yeah.
Somehow coming in clutch right before.
Yeah, just right before it blew up.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was
Yeah.
actually a very chaotic period back then, but
Mm.
yeah, that makes it more memorable. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you've been in Albania
Mm-hmm.
till last week, basically.
So last week, yes, from February this year. It's been 10 months there.
And what were you doing there?
So, just to kind of explain why I was there, UPA has 4 years of the normal bachelor degree. It differs, I heard, in Europe sometimes. In Albania, at least, they have 3 years, but I don't know what the situation. But in Korea, it's 4 years, and
Yeah.
so I had 4 years of just the education period. And then we have a 2-year mission that we have to do. So my mission country was Albania, but because I'm special, I didn't do the full 2 years. I did 10 months, and then my true mother also wanted me to experience various communities, which brought me to Hungary, actually. And because of this, after Hungary, I'm going to be visiting other countries in Europe.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll also be visiting the other continents. But the plan's always changing. We're not so
Yeah,
sure.
that's
Yeah.
what I got from you so far.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you don't have a very like far out schedule.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my life, what's going to come, but thankfully I'm not so paranormal about the future, so
Right.
yeah, I'm okay.
You're okay with just going with the flow
That's right.
comes and responding to a call when it comes.
Yeah, it's also more comfortable because
Really?
yeah, I don't really have to think of the future.
Oh.
If some people might not like that, they might
Yeah.
think, oh, you don't have choice, but I my choice that I made is I want to help the movement in some way, and if if I get told what to do, it's comfortable from my perspective.
Mhm.
It's just do what is needed.
Right. And you're going on tour now from Europe.
Yeah,
There's still a workshop, I think, coming up in
yeah.
January.
The so I'm in Europe until January 27th to be precise, and to wrap up this time in Europe, there's gonna be a big workshop for European leaders. I don't know who the audience is for this podcast, but I'm sorry to those who might want to come. It's a small group for 40 European leaders,
Yeah.
40 missionaries, and we're kind of talking about Providence and how we can do better.
Mm. And
Yeah.
that'll be a wrap. Yeah. Yeah. So, how's it been in Europe? Shortly, impressions. And
Okay.
also, like, I'm really curious, yeah, going out into the field, so to
Mm-hmm.
say, witnessing, fundraising. Any stories from that?
Okay. All right. I don't have any special interesting stories in particular, but I guess the experience in Albania, I I heard that a lot of people don't consider Albania Europe, kind of. It's in Europe, but even the Albanians don't consider themselves
Right.
fully
Well,
European.
there's this
Yeah.
like Europe, like the usually related more to European Union, like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
countries, and then
yeah.
yeah, there's
The
different
Balkan
regions. Yeah.
region.
Yeah.
And so I can't really give you an opinion of Europe, which was part of your first question, but going back to the missionary experience, to be honest, uh, yeah, that was, I think it's a very essential experience in my life.
Mm.
It's not that I had these new revelations, sort of, because I've always been thinking about the movement and the situation, so I kind of already grasped how it was there. But it's more of I can connect more to how it is to be a leader in one of these, for example, European communities, which don't have as much structure or membership
Mm.
as in Korea and Japan. Because
Yeah.
Korea and Japan, of course, I consider myself a minority because we are, but we still have um, tens and thousands of members and
Yeah.
a lot of second gen just coming for workshops. But it was very different in Albania. Actually, it's uh, I think it's good in some sense because everyone's more close to each other, more family feeling. But I can also see the hardships that people face doing mission, especially
Mm.
because they don't have a lot of financial backing. Is what I fully understood.
Mm.
I kind of caught it, but I already knew this. But it's
Mm.
different in living that life, with these
Right.
center leaders, for example, who are giving like 7 years of their life, 8 years of their life with like
Mm.
300 euros a month, man. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So more than witnessing experience, it's more of I can connect more with the uh, members, leaders who are, working for Providence in these, I guess, more harsher conditions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you get like a real taste of kind of how members are living, what they're living off of, and
Yeah, yeah,
literally,
yeah.
and also, yeah, just kind of what's people's experience, and I guess yeah, like the experience in Europe and Korea, Japan is very distinctly
It's
different.
very different,
You're
very
you're a
different.
minority there, but you're a like, real minority here.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Did you actually, for example, going to school, did you
hmm
have other BCs with you?
Actually, so until middle school, so I grew up in America
Oh yeah.
until I was in third grade of
Oh yeah, yeah.
elementary school. There were no BCs in my school back then, but I didn't really, I was young, so I didn't really think about that.
Yeah.
After I moved to Korea, until I was in freshman year,
Hmm.
I was just in a um, like not movement related school. So I had, I think, one BC in the whole school,
Hmm.
but she was also a different grade from me, so I didn't really know her. But I lived in a dormitory from my freshman year. But the education
Hmm.
system in Korea is a little different. We have 3 years of middle school, 3 years of high school.
Okay.
So my third year of middle school, I moved to a different school with a lot of 170 second generations to be
Whoa.
precise. Yeah.
Wait, that's more than most communities in Europe
Yeah, 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 yeah.
have in total.
It's a a church-owned school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so we have a dormitory there just for second gen.
Wow.
So a lot of second gen from Japan and some international members come.
Hmm.
And that's where I lived with them for 3 years and a half.
Hmm.
And so before that, I had almost no experience. After that, I had plenty. Just everyone around me was BC basically.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think this is something that, mm, for most of us, we kind of think about the true family and
Mm.
children, grandchildren. We don't ever imagine people going to school. We don't ever
Oh.
imagine people having like a normal life,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And it's interesting to hear that. So you went to middle school, high school, and graduated
Yeah.
like any other.
I lived a relatively normal life.
Okay.
Uh,
Hmm.
it was also because after my father passed away, for those of you who might not know, my father is Hyo Jin Moon.
If you can't tell from the facial features.
Maybe I just look Asian to you
If
guys,
he
but
if he started singing now, I mean,
no. Anyway, but yeah, my father he passed away when I was 8. So after that, I just kind of because true parents has very big family, a lot of children,
Mhm,
so we kind of just went a lot more to the outskirts of Providence, so to speak.
mhm,
So that kind of gave me a chance to grow up relatively normally.
mhm,
I think actually, if my father didn't pass away, I might have, uh, lived a different life, had different personalities. But yeah,
mhm.
I guess so. You can say I was kind of
Yeah.
normal.
And so how was it for you growing up in this movement, in this faith? Um, yeah, what did your youth look like? Highlights and
All right.
struggles?
So related to the movement, um, so for some context, just because I'm true grandchild, true family, I don't get the best spiritual education, faith education. Actually, I had almost none of it because
Mm.
after my father passed away, my mother, she was like, this might be exaggerated, I'm not sure, but just really my memories of childhood, I'm pretty sure she was only like home 3 months of a year, basically. She was
Wow.
most, and those 3 months aren't together,
It's
she's
spread
just,
out.
yeah,
Oh.
so basically not home, okay? And that's why there really wasn't anyone to guide me faith-wise,
Yeah.
spiritually. And but my mom is a mom. When she's home, she just scolds me and
Oh.
talks about all the things I shouldn't do. Like, oh
Okay.
no,
So
be
get
careful.
like in that 3 month period, getting in all the
Yeah,
education.
yeah, yeah. None of the love, just the be careful. Don't go near girls. Don't smoke. Don't all
Oh
these
wow.
things. All these things.
Okay.
And that's why I understand probably most second gen have similar upbringings, maybe less, maybe
Mm,
more, but they probably have some, I guess, their parents try to control them. They have these
mm,
type of experiences, but so I also did. And that's why, like, maybe some of you, I also didn't have faith until um, high school, actually. So before that point, if we divide my life of faith, I actually didn't. I hated the movement basically
mm,
because uh, I might have had this relatively normal upbringing, but I was still true family.
Yeah.
So I had to go to all the events, you know. I'm
Mm.
like, since I was like 8, 9, 10, I would just be sitting at events 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know what's going on. All these
Yeah.
people come up and, you know, and like it just that's basically my weekend.
Yeah.
Never had time to spend with friends almost. I'd always be at an event or somewhere. Like it felt like the movement was taking away my freedom, so to speak.
Mm.
And that was the big reason I really just didn't like anything about the movement. That's why I hated workshops too,
Oh,
because vacation is when I can spend more free time,
yeah.
relatively, right? But we have in Korea, I don't know here, but in Korea they usually have these long workshops,
Yeah,
21 days,
yeah,
14 days. And that's big for, you know, young me because I don't have a lot of free time, but even that time is my mom says go to the workshop and
Yeah.
yeah, like from this perspective, oh, also there's my mom just keep going on about it, but my mom was very strict and for example, since she wasn't here, I understand her now, but I guess since she
Mm.
wasn't home, she really wanted to just protect me, especially and because I'm the eldest, from society. So I had like a curfew, you
Oh,
know.
oh,
I did sports at school, so school ended at 3. I did 2 hours of school sports.
what
I
kind of
was on the sports
sports?
team. So the school I went to had this seasonal sport. I guess it's similar to America, seasonal sports where
Okay.
um, in the winter you have swimming and volley, something like that. I don't remember now, but so I would usually do one sport every season.
Okay.
And but after that, you know, friends usually go do something, but I would just have to go home.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So no, like hanging out
yeah,
most of the
nothing
time.
like that. And like, for
Mm.
example, if I wanted to go to a sleepover, I had to tell my mom 1 week beforehand.
Oh,
But you know, usually in middle school, you don't plan sleepovers
yeah.
one
Yeah.
week before, and it really
Yeah.
prevent. It felt like she was stopping me from like, you know, and this also just tied to my hate to the movement, basically.
Right. Mm.
Um, Also, another big thing was, I guess there's two parts that really didn't made me dislike the movement was this. I never really got the good education about why we can't date girls, you know, why we can't date boys, you know. I'm not gay, I'm just saying, like, why we can't date the other sex,
Have to
okay?
put it out
Yeah, I'm not gay, I'm married. Anyway, but
Okay.
yeah, why we can't date the other sex, basically.
Mm.
I just was told not to.
Yeah.
Of course, I got all this blessing education from workshops, but
Mm.
you know, I was young. My heart was already closed. I didn't take any of it in, right? So,
Mm.
um, and also a big thing is I was very lonely because my mom was almost giving me no love, and the people are 'cause she couldn't, not because she didn't.
Yeah.
But also the people around me were they were more like Shinchul Nim, you know. I'm special. I'm not
Yeah.
human. You
Yeah,
understand?
that's what I wanted to ask, because I
Mm.
bet people's expectations of you as well,
Yeah, that's right.
wildly different than most of
Like,
us.
yeah, it was a lot of people loved me, of course, but it was not the type of love a child would want, you know. It's more of this type of love, like, oh, Shinchunim. It's not,
Right.
if you understand.
Yeah.
And that's why if I go back to my middle school years, I was always just, you know, um, I would really just contact like if a girl showed me some interest, I would just always we would just contact, you know, like 2 hour, 3 hour voice calls, like this type of this is where I kind of, you know, got my love.
Mm.
But that's also kind of it's not enough, you know. Like some girls, I didn't even like them, but it's
Mm.
just I would say I like them, but
Mm.
like this type of thing, uh,
Yeah.
just for that relationship, kind of.
Right. So it's kind of searching for substitutes.
Yeah, yeah, like the
Yeah.
um anyway, so basically that was uh my growing up. It wasn't so different from, you know, a lot of second gen. I think a lot of
Mm.
second gen probably have these type of experiences where they can't fully understand why they can't do these things, they can't date. And I was the same actually, just because I might look like I was always in the center of Providence. I wasn't, so.
Yeah. Yeah, what you're saying is like I think a lot of BCs relate, right? Because this experience of being like having a bunch of forbidden fruits all around you,
Yeah.
and yet life in the movement is not exactly a walk in the park. It's not a piece of cake, right? It's there's like lots of these restrictions, but seemingly no one else from your friends needs to follow them. No one
Yeah,
needs to be so restricted from life. And then in your own family, like things might not always be so great, actually, right?
that's true.
Yeah, and the that relationships that we ideally want and strive for and like talk about are not necessarily always there, and so especially like starting from our own family. So I think for like I've been traveling for the last year around Europe and interacting with a lot of youth, mostly harp age, but that's just like yeah, Europe is quite young. But this is what yeah, I could see a lot actually. A lot of young people are like have these holes in their hearts, and there's like
Yeah.
something missing, and they're trying to fill it up. Uh, yeah, for a lot of people, that usually somehow happens through the online space, right?
Yeah.
And like because that's such a easily accessible medium.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Parents can't stop you from going on the internet.
yeah,
Because a lot of children, especially nowadays, I understand that even when I was in school, we would have to use our computers to do our homework, for
yeah.
example. And that's why, just like you were saying, it's not so good.
Yeah, I was just recently I was at a summit, like BFD summit, so the Blessed Family Department. I was giving a presentation to the members there about like my work for the past year, like a report. And there were some questions, right, about like the statistics I showed of numbers of youth that are struggling with internet pornography, for example. And people were shocked, to say the least. And this question um, came up of, is it not, well, what the work that I'm doing, is it not like too early to talk to youth about sex and sexuality and like the dangers of the internet and pornography and so on when they're 15, 16? And my answer there was like, do you know what the average age is of exposure?
Yeah, it's
It's,
much
it's
younger.
like 11.
Like I remember when I was in elementary, when I was like sixth grade, I didn't know anything, but I went to an international school. I was going to a Korean school,
Oh yeah.
and then I moved to an international school. But like even then, they were already just like, for example, I didn't know the word hump,
Yeah.
but they were like, oh, hump him. I'm like, what's hump? Oh, like a camel's hump? They would joke, but I didn't know jack, right? But like you said, it's just the age. I feel is getting much younger because,
Yeah. And
especially because YouTube and
yeah, YouTube is also
yeah,
yeah.
they're just anyway.
Instagram, like these are kind of gateways in many ways. They can be gateways, right? And yeah, so it comes as a shock, and it's often, I mean, to be fair, right, for us, it's like it's involuntary. We somehow get exposed to it, right?
Yeah,
And culture, our environments are not always as protected as we'd like them to be. And so the natural question is, how do we deal with that? How do we go about growing up with high ideals, huge struggles as well? Like, how do we reconcile? And maybe you can share something, yeah, from your side,
yeah.
experiences.
I mean, if we start this topic about education, it's gonna stray a lot. But just to give you my personal feelings, is I feel that our movement tries to live as if members of our movement are trying to live as if we are already in Cheonilgu, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
That's not bad, but it doesn't work because the truth is we're a very big minority in society.
Very big
So
minority.
we can't influence our children the way we want them to.
Yeah, or especially
Just
if we're talking about percentage of influence,
yeah,
like how
yeah.
much of that takes up, like is taken up by society
Yeah,
simply,
yeah.
and like
Like family is no longer the biggest influence on children, in my opinion.
Yeah, with these in
yeah,
everyone's hands.
this is like a Pandora's box, basically. And this is something that we have to acknowledge, I feel. We have to understand this, and we have to match our education to societies. Because children, they're young when they get exposed to these, sexual knowledge. But, and our parents might not want to expose our children at this young age. But this is not something we can control. But something that we can control is how they first get exposed to these type of things,
Yeah.
Instead of it being maybe pornography or your friend's dirty jokes or some YouTuber, degrading the other sex in certain ways.
Yeah.
We can teach them. Maybe it might be fast, but since elementary school or even before they get a chance to know these things, because of course, what I'm saying is not a permanent solution. Because our ideal world, when we actually get Cheongguk and everyone is a Cheongguk citizen, there won't be these problems anymore, right? So then we can start educating them, maybe middle school or high school. But right now, the reality is, especially sexually, the culture is so bad, like
There's many
in
unhealthy
society.
things for sure. Yeah.
So we have to acknowledge this, and we need to really create, start thinking about how to educate our less children before society, I guess, stains them or damages their thinking.
Yeah, I've shared on this podcast, like in multiple episodes in various ways as well, bits and pieces of my story growing up. But yeah, and it's been super relatable for me with most people that I've met. It's like elementary school is usually already some kind of first exposure,
Yeah.
and many people also, because we're secretive about our struggles, about our shadows, because we tend to hide because it's kind of shameful. Then our approach to solutions is also then limited very much. Right? 'Cause we
Yes.
don't acknowledge even, right, that we have things to work on, and
Mm.
yeah,
And yeah, I think the biggest problem is also, like you said, that um, the culture, especially in our movement, is we view these things as very dirty or impure and like a sin.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these things are good, but children are they're seen immature and innocent and stupid in some ways, but they're also very quick to catch these type of uh, atmospheres or
assumptions
like
about them.
this. No, I mean, how should
Yeah.
I say this? How people view certain things, like
Okay.
what you shouldn't do, what you should
Yeah,
do.
yeah, okay.
But the reason that children hide these things is, like you said, because they feel it's shameful. But who makes this culture where um, these things are shameful are the members and our culture.
We make it.
Yes, and because, for example, my friends they talk about pornography and like all these things freely at school. It's not something they hide.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and that was same.
yeah,
Yeah.
in our movement, it's something that's a shame, and because we know it's not good. But the important thing is that I feel we have to give the space to our, especially children, growing like younger generations, where they can be comfortable enough to talk about these topics to their parents or their
Yeah.
able figures. But the truth is, we don't have this type of culture.
Hey, just a quick intermission to let you know that High Noon has a program just for single people that want to prepare well for marriage. So if you happen to be one of those single people that wants to be a stellar, fantastic, amazing, marriageable man or woman, then check out the core program, which you can find at highnoon.org. It is just for single folks like you who want to get ready for marriage and be ready for marriage. So join that at highnoon.org. And we will see you in the core program.
Yeah, it's if we don't start basically from ourselves, then no one else will for us. right?
Yeah.
But this the conversation surrounding sexuality, I think, and this is also something that in our movement I think is not hard to understand. It like we really believe in this, that this education should be coming from the family,
Yes.
right? From parents. Lots of members nowadays I see are pulling their children out of public schools. Like in Europe, for example, it's very prominent because yeah, people are concerned that they cannot control the education, even like at school level, coming from teachers. That's coming.
It is
Yeah,
true.
yeah. So yeah, and so yeah, on this topic of dealing with these struggles, dealing with shadows. I mean, for a lot of youth, living for a long time with these shadows might have made them also kind of distant from the movement, distant from friends, family, and feel perhaps that there's no hope or no, yeah, it's not viable anymore. So, what would you say to that?
All right, so then going back to my story, I kind of left it off at a, sour note where I just grew distant from the movement. So how am I here?
Yeah.
This is
Exactly.
connected.
Yeah,
So
exactly. How are you here?
I will speak on that. So yeah, basically that's how I was until my freshman year of high school. I don't. How is the school system in Europe?
Different in most countries, but it's something
So
like there's an
okay,
elementary,
I'll just go by
a
grades
middle
then.
school.
So
Yeah.
six, seven, eight. So ninth grade.
Okay.
You understand
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
So yeah, until ninth grade, basically, this was me. I was just if some girl would give me some, she'd show interest, I just, like I said, very far away from the movement, and I wasn't dating just because I was kind of brainwashed, so to speak, like, but basically, anyway. But a big turning point for me was like we just talked about, I really felt that I had to hide these things, and these things were shameful, and that's why I couldn't really speak to my parents honestly, too, like my mom honestly, too, about these type of things, because I was scared. I was scared to just talk about it, and I knew she wouldn't I knew she wouldn't accept, and she'd just get angry.
yeah.
But when I uh, when I went to what do you call it? So the Korean school year is different from American. So when I finished ninth grade of the American school year,
Yeah.
it's in the middle of the Korean school year because we start in February, not
Right.
summer. So after I finished my ninth grade, mother told me to go to the school I talked about with a lot of second gen.
Yeah. Okay.
And honestly, at first, I really didn't want to go
Okay.
because, like I said, I hated the movement,
Right, and that's even
And
more movement.
yeah. I felt that I would have no breathing space there.
Right.
Like I'd be suffocated just because I'd have to act like Shinchul Nim, so to speak,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to be free. But going there was a big turning point for me because not because everyone was so nice and everyone had such good faith, but actually it was the opposite. A
Interesting.
lot of
Right.
the children there don't have a lot of good faith, especially the boys, But that really showed me, first of all, that so these struggles I had, they weren't just my
Yeah,
own,
they're not
first of
isolated.
all.
Right.
And also, for the first time, I had a place where I can just be me inside the movement,
Wow. Okay.
Because although they didn't have faith, they were still second generation, right?
Yeah.
And especially for someone who, like, I was true family, and although I wasn't already always setting a good example, I always tried to. I always had it in my mind. I felt pressured to. But when I was around them and living there, I understood that maybe I didn't have to for the first time, and it really it kind of was the first step to opening up my heart towards the movement. Um, like for example, we did hundoke every day there.
No.
On the first day,
It's like that's the start of school.
yeah. Hundoke
Wow.
is the
Okay.
start. We start.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like we have to go.
Wow.
Mandatory. But anyway, so the first day of hundoke, because I had to set an example, I was thinking.
Yeah.
I went there 20 minutes early. no one was there. A lot of kids were coming late, so that's when I first started to understand. Oh, okay, these guys aren't so fired up. And after like 1 week, I understood. Oh, they're just the same as me. They were like telling dirty jokes, for example, talking about girls, like just like normal kids.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's bad. Of course, it's not. When we mature, we should go over this point, but that really let me be more me. I didn't have to act anymore. And after that, I went to a workshop called GTGY.
Yeah.
The first one.
16?
16.
Okay.
So up to that point, I didn't have faith yet. The door was now opened towards our movement, which was closed. I didn't hate the movement anymore because of thanks to my friends, right? But I had no faith. But I got really touched by a lecture.
Okay.
The lecture was about how our first generation elders, how they really sacrificed a lot for the movement to come to where it is now. How they would eat dog food just to survive. For this Korean stories, of course.
Okay,
Mission Butterfly has a lot of other ones too, but the Korean side is like they would eat dog food. They would give their children to orphanages and go 7-year mission. These type of things, and that's when I started to understand that I'm here because of those sacrifices, and maybe I shouldn't be living like that because I was not like, all right, so there's some sensitive topics, but not for me, but also there's other people involved that I can't go too deep into because this is a public podcast.
Sure.
But anyway, there were some things that happened, and this led to me really reflecting on my faith. I started to do Cheongsang every day. Oh my God! This story, it can't get told with. Okay, so hopefully the person won't see this. Anyway, but so you have to understand that although my door to faith opened, I was still the same boy from before I went to this school, right? So I still had interest in girls and all these things. But a big problem with GTGY actually was a lot of second gen come together, right?
Yeah.
But also not all of them have good education, and so love starts to happen. Like you would see second gen and night. I don't know if some people might not know, but a lot of them would just
that's why there's these
and all these
guards
things.
walking around at
Yeah,
night,
yeah. That's right.
I was once like I woke up in the middle of the night. I was jet lagged like crazy. I just wanted to get some water. And some security guard came up to me like, "Where are you going? What are you doing, man?"
Yeah, exactly. Because
Okay, I never connected those dots.
Yeah, because of so people like me. I had so there was a person who basically I won't go too deep into that, but we showed interest in each other basically, and we're talking about it, and like just calling and texting each other basically in the movement, second gen, third gen maybe, I won't say, but anyway. But after that lecture, I understood that this was wrong, right? This relationship was wrong. I'm here thanks to the sacrifice of these elder members. I shouldn't let them down, basically.
Right.
But you have to understand, I said I never had a good education faith-wise. So the solution that I found was just to get blessed with that girl.
Oh.
Because I don't know anything.
Right.
I didn't know that the values in the blessing and all these things.
I think many people arrive at a similar conclusion.
Yes, exactly. So, but the bigger problem was, it's okay if I told my mom first.
Yeah.
But you know how marriage is, you propose to the girl before you get married. You tell your parents, right? So
Okay.
that's what I did.
Oh.
I asked the girl, "You want to get blessed with me?" And
Okay, and that girl probably just
yeah, it
flipped
was,
over.
no. She said yes.
Oh.
And then that's why the problem got bigger. If I just got rejected straight out,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have become big. But she said yes,
Oh, wow.
so I had to go. So I went to my mom and I told her, "Mom, there's this girl I want to get blessed with." So it was okay until then because it's normal, right? But then I told her and she said yes.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
that's when the
the
talk
talk.
happened. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm very thankful to this moment to my mom that she didn't get mad at me, you know?
Mhm.
She was very calm about
Mm,
it.
mm,
Because I was not calm. I was like,
mm.
why? Why? But if she was also getting angry, I don't think I might not have ever have been able to find my faith because
Yeah.
as that's something that I really felt that she really did good as a parent.
Right.
There's not a lot of things I think she did good, but that was one of the
Ooh.
things.
Okay.
Anyway, but
Like patience at the right time.
yes,
And just like
that was very
yeah.
important for me that I reflect now. She was very patient about it. It was like 2-3 hour talk where she just listened to me and then
Mm.
kept explaining. But anyway, of course, I'm young. I didn't understand fully in that moment, but I knew I made a big mistake, right?
Mm.
So, um, the, the girl's waiting for an
Mm.
answer because she also thinks. Remember, basically, so my mom told me to call her. So,
Okay.
and then my mom explained everything to her and crying, and I'm like a criminal in the back, kind of, like, you know.
Okay.
Uh,
Mm.
anyway,
So she not only kind of listened and kind of received your
yes, she had a
situation,
lot of patience and
it also
understanding.
led you to that way of taking responsibility
Yeah,
in the end. Right?
and then one thing that she said to me was she told me that if I still have feelings for her after 2 years, not after not contacting her at all, and just giving Chongsong every day, then she'll think about it.
Okay.
So I was like, Mom, this is love. You don't know this. This is love. It won't change. So I was like, yeah, of course. But so that's that's kind of how she dealt with it, which I think is good. But so basically, after this, I started to do Jongsong every day. 21 days, 21 pages of Divine Principle. Nothing too big, but it's for someone who never did Jongsong before in his life. It was, it was good. I would read DP 21 pages a day, and if you read 21 pages a day, it's basically you read DP once a month.
Yeah.
That's kind of the pacing. But yeah, so that's what happened. After this, we didn't contact because, yeah. But so 21 pages, 1 month passed, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. But that's when I started to realize that because first I was just praying for her. I was like, God, please let me get blessed to her because I don't know how to pray. I don't know anything. I'm just doing this cheongsang for my purpose. But after as time started to go by, I started to pray about different things. Started to pray for maybe my friends or then slowly the movement, then the world. My prayers started to change.
Yeah.
And after 6 months, I realized I didn't have any feelings for her left. And that experience gave me two big revelations, so to speak.
Yeah.
First one was this is something that my wife might not like because she's a romantist kind of, but there's no destiny, so to speak. Something that I understood.
Yeah.
There is no true love. Okay, no, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Wait. That came out wrong. There is no destiny love. Like
Right,
those
right.
those
Soulmates.
movie loves. Yeah, there is no soulmates.
Right.
That's fake.
Yeah.
I think soulmates are resultant. If two people make the effort to become a soulmate, and if they can keep their love until they die, that we can call a soulmate, right? But I understood that because we didn't contact each other and there was no give and take, no matter how much I thought I loved her, like, of course I was still 10th grade, but I thought I loved her. But no matter how much I thought I loved her, these emotions disappeared, right? And I understood that through that, like, I guess maybe it was a little young for me to have this revelation, but um, love is not some destined thing. It's something that you have to make an effort for. Like
Right.
husband and wife, just because you fight or you don't match with each other, that doesn't mean you're not meant for each other. Because I had this, all second gen have these fantasies
Right.
because they don't date, they never meet a girl or a boy before they get blessed, which I think is a big problem because we also don't educate them about them. No. It's not a problem that they don't, but it's a problem that there's no education to back this up. They don't, parents don't teach that like love is not some beautiful, horse ride or something. It's more of a roller
Yeah,
coaster.
we often tend to talk about ideals.
Yeah.
And so how our whole purity journey, like keeping a purity, is for this great blessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've recognized this with my wife as well. Kind of like after the blessing, it's like good luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Like for me, for example, before this experience, the blessing was the end goal.
Right.
But after this, I guess I was lucky because from a young age, I started to prepare myself and learn that the blessing was just the start, because it's a promise that you have to keep till the death. It's very, very, and I understood the beauty and the blessing in that moment. That's when I started to connect to the movement more,
Right.
and that's where my faith started to grow through that experience. Although the experience itself might be taboo, a big mistake,
Right.
through that, I was able to grow and have a stronger faith. And I guess I'm able to give more effort to my wife now because I understand that if I never had the experience, maybe I'd be, why isn't my wife perfect for me? Why isn't she matching me?
Entitled to it.
Maybe we're not meant for each other,
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the blessing is broken. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to throw rocks at the people who break the blessing, okay? It happens. However, I feel that sometimes you might break the blessing when you can try a little more. Because I understood that when I fight with my wife, it's not that I only love. I hate her sometimes in some sense, I love her, but I also feel like, oh my God, type of feeling.
Yeah.
But like the moment that you give up, I felt that maybe couples don't break up because they don't love each other, but it's just because like there's love left,
Right.
but they don't make the
They don't
effort.
make the step
Yeah.
to love especially when it's difficult.
Mm.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot. I mean, actually, yeah, you were blessed 2020.
2020.
Yes, I was blessed 2021, and I can say like first year of the blessing was almost hell.
Oh,
for
really?
me. Like, honestly, yeah, because suddenly the pink glasses were off,
Ah,
right,
right.
and then reality started kicking in, and like the character differences
Yes,
were amplified, and things that, especially for me, and I've spoken about this on previous episodes, but things that I hadn't worked out previously, they just came back. They were not hidden anywhere. For me, it was yeah. Anyway, I spoke already a lot about that,
Yeah.
but right, yeah. So I see that. Yeah, we're kind of closing in on our a lot of time, but I would say maybe final thing what we could touch on is dealing with past mistakes, and so you elaborate a lot on your own personal story, and so what can we just put down as points, right, for anyone listening here, dealing with past mistakes, things that we're ashamed of, or we feel like they're holding us back.
Yeah. Like I said, the big reason that I was able to, I guess, connect back to true parents and heavenly parents was because the environment around me didn't really put me down or blame me for the mistake I made, for example. Like telling asking someone to get blessed. It's a big mistake in our movement, right? But the environment, like, I also felt comfortable with the people around me, especially because they didn't have as much faith, of course. The friends that I'm talking about that I lived in the dormitory with, they are like family to me. They're really close. But
Right.
that's something that I felt is needed in our movement, though. Through that experience, I understood that, first of all, everyone makes mistakes, To some people, maybe they never thought that a true family member might make these mistakes, but even I do, everyone does. But the important thing is that I think it's important to always be there for each other when they make the mistake. It's because sometimes there's a tendency in our movement to kind of see these mistakes and talk badly about it, or talk behind the back, Because I actually think it's okay to scold someone for the mistake they made. I do. But it should be direct to them, in front of them, and not out of hate, but out of love for them.
Right.
Like, I really don't think that the choice you are making is good.
Right.
Billy, whatever, John. And you shouldn't do this, but this honest talk.
Right.
Not this behind the back, oh, you heard John has a girlfriend, like, type of, because people can feel that, right? People can feel it.
Yeah, that's very. It just adds to the pressure if you kind of assume or have a feeling that people are talking about you as well behind your back.
Yeah,
Like,
you can feel it.
yeah, and that's like what you're talking about. We talk about this a lot as well. Grace, essentially,
Yes.
giving grace to each other, right? For who we are, for just that. All of us, we make mistakes. All of us, we somehow falter in our lives, and that there is a learning process in that, right? We're just learning how to live as well. And grace, and what the other thing you're mentioning is just this environment, right? Connecting with the people around you and not feeling pressured, feeling a sense of belonging. Like that was a big part for you,
Yeah.
right, growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, like, because personally, this is personal belief. Not everyone has to agree, but I believe the only people who can judge our mistakes are God and me, Because first off, the person who made the mistake knows they made the mistake.
Right.
If they want to pay indemnity for it, they're gonna have to live with it, It's not my place to judge your mistake, for example. Maybe if it's to me, that's a different story. But, like, for example, just because you're dating someone or you're smoking or whatever, like, maybe as long as you don't, it's a different story if you're smoking in the church building and these type of things. But, like, I don't think we should judge. It's just what I personally feel, because we might think that we have good faith because, and they don't. That's why we can talk bad about them or something. But it's kind of contradicting the essence of what we teach, which is true love. The essence is true love. So the moment we start judging someone because of our faithful beliefs, it's actually an act that is not faithful.
Yeah.
It's contradictory that you judge somebody because you have good faith.
Against the faith.
It cannot be. It cannot be. The moment you judge, you don't have good faith. So if you are proud of your faith, don't judge. You should love. This is what I think.
Right. Wow. Yeah. That's. I think that's very wise. And there was a lot of, in general, like wisdom nuggets, I think, throughout this whole conversation, and there was stuff here for singles, for couples as well. So yeah, and just a couple of days ago when you were here talking to the youth, I didn't know what to expect when you were coming here and what are you gonna talk about. But when you chose to just acknowledge to anyone who feels like they cannot be here because of their past mistakes, that no, it's okay. Like you can be here, and we should become an open doors place, right, for everyone, no matter where they are at their lives. I think it's very precious, and we definitely need more of that.
Yeah. I hope we can make that together, though. It's not something I can make. It's the culture. It's everyone.
Thanks so much for joining in. You know, I just, for context, I mean, I just asked, I thought I'll just shoot my shot. Like, would you like to join on the podcast? Like, straight after that talk that you gave here for the youth. I didn't know what to expect, but they're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, actually, for context, Billy asked me to do one of these back in Albania.
Oh, really?
But back then I didn't have as much leisure in my life, so to speak. So I said no, but I mean, if it's the second time, I guess there's some God's calling or something. So I said, why not?
Yeah, well, I'm super glad that that you can join, and I think this is going to be a special episode. Yeah, it could be very interesting to listen to. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, prior to Christmas or after. So to anyone listening, it's either Merry Christmas or Happy New Year's, or like after that.
Happy life.
Yeah, happy life.
Blessings.
Yeah, anything else you want to leave people with?
Oh,
and where are you going next?
All right. I guess anything else to leave first is I hope to see many of you in Cheonwon-gung. I kind of spoke about this in my some of you, for those of you who might not know, I was doing something called Chamyeong worship in Albania, and one of those worships I spoke about how this Cheonwon-gung chants is something that it's not for mother, you know? Like, for example, European members going to Cheonwon-gung, the plane, the accommodations, all of these things is like 300, 200, I don't know, even cheap, at least 1,000 euro plus.
Oh,
like
that's just the flights.
Exactly, right? But like, if this was for mother, maybe she'd just say, okay, pay half of those as special donations, and it's counted as you came, for example. But she's inviting everyone because this is a historic moment that will never come again. Like, for example, even if we want to be at the Cheonwon-gung inauguration, that's something that already happened. Right. It won't happen again. Just like that, Cheonwon-gung is something that will only happen now. And we don't know how many more chances like this we will have with mother. And that's why I feel, especially if you're second gen or someone who never had these type of experiences with mother, like Bloom is good. It was good, but like this is gonna be in history, you know, Cheonwon-gung. Of course, Bloom is also in history, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I really like you guys to maybe rethink and try and make an effort to come. You know, maybe even just for that day. This is for you though. You shouldn't go out of your way, like go into debt to come.
Right.
But yeah. And my plans after are to visit Czech Republic, I think. Czech?
Yeah, Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Yeah. Czech, Romania, Germany, Portugal, England, and then final workshop that we talked about in Albania.
Right. So there's lots of travels for you up ahead.
Yep.
So I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Lots of energy.
Stay
healthy. Yeah.
I have to.
Right. Oh, that was a good one. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
See everyone in the next one.
Peace.
Oh yes, Benji here, guys. If you've benefited from this episode and you love the podcast, then please consider becoming a donor for High Noon. It is a special privilege to be a donor. If you want to donate just $10 a month or $20 a month or $100 a month, if you want some way to contribute to something really, really impactful, and you have some cash to do that, then please let High Noon be that for you. We welcome you. We are still a nonprofit, and we use all the funds to help support our programs, to change the lives of lots of people and travel the world and do epic stuff like that. So please go to highnoon.org/donate and please help us out. All right, see ya.